Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs on the YouTube. Dave here in the garage. You're sitting on the Area 51 project. Don't dent the roof, don't put shit on the roof of your project cars. It's important. Yeah, part 2 on the hood, like the hood of the Area 51 project. So this video would carry on because the last video was just getting too long, and I looked at how much footage I had left and there was a heap. Like, I was only halfway through all the crap that I'd filmed, so I had to split this video into 2, and here we are, part 2. So let's carry on. We get into prepping and priming and stuff of the underside of the hood, or bonnet as we refer to them here. I keep saying hood because a lot of the viewers of this channel are in Canada as a major viewer. Go Canada. And North America, you know, the States, the US of A. And we've got Australia and here in New Zealand too, and a few other like random places in Russia and shit like that. That's good on you. How's it going? Yeah. And but yeah, so let's get into it. If you haven't subscribed already, get over there, hit the subscribe button. Like, share, comment, hit the notifications bell if you want to get notified. But let's get on with the show. This way. Show? What am I talking about? Hey guys, well, it's a couple of days later. Well, actually, it's nearly a week later. I got some family come up from down the line for a visit, so I kind of stopped what I was doing, but came back down and carried on doing some wire wheeling on sanding and stuff on the old hinges, which was pretty riveting stuff. It kind of goes a little like this. But anyway, back onto this, more importantly, is what I kind of want to get onto today, and kind of get it all prepped up, get it into epoxy, and even get some high build on here. I'm not really high build, just primer sort of thing. I'm not going too nuts under here. I just want to make it clean and have a bit of a finish on it, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, sucky job, but we'll get into it, get it done. I'll get the DA out and try and knock down as much as I can off of that. Wire wheels and then a bit of hand sanding, unfortunately, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. But yeah, my old repair kind of came up nice enough for my liking, so we'll be able to kind of flood that with a bit of high build and we should be all good. There's a little divotty there, so we might need a little bit of glaze or something on it, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Anyway, let's get cleaning this up, sanding. Okay, so nothing like wearing a mask on a hot, humid day to kind of make you feel better when you take the mask off. And it's getting humid already. It's only like 9 o'clock in the morning. So first run through with the DA complete. Tried to scrape off some of that fiberglass stuff that was behind those holes. Got most of it off, but now I'm going to go through with a wire wheel, kind of get a bunch of stuff that's a bit, you know, get a bit closer into some of that, and then we're going to have to do some hand sanding, unfortunately. But yeah, it'll be alright. This black stuff that's on here, I'm not going to take it all the way off because it's been on there for like 70 something years, you know. So whatever they used, it held in this situation. So I'm just hitting it a bit harder where it's a bit less kind of, you know, where it comes off easy. I'll kind of feather it out a bit, and where it kind of staying on pretty hard, I'm just leaving it, just scuffing it up with the old 80 grit and leaving it be. But yeah, so that's kind of how it's going. It's what we're doing. Getting there. Coffee time. So it's been a nice hot day. I'm going to go and have a hot cup of coffee. Back in a bit. Okay, so sanded, wire wheeled, kind of got in as far as I'm going to go with the underside of this bonnet. I've just given it a bit of a vacuum. I like to kind of vacuum the bulk of the crappy stuff up since I've got a vacuum handy, rather than just hit it straight with the air gun, air shooty thing, pew thing. You're not allowed to say gun and stuff on the internet anymore, apparently. I don't know if anyone's noticed that, like certain words are kind of bleeped out on the old internet and Facebook and things like that. They're just words. So yeah, I'm just gonna give that a. I am gonna blow it out though, because there's bits in there that there'd be dust and crap in there that the vacuum wouldn't have had the oomph to kind of suck it out. So I will kind of give it a final blow off, air down with the air peel shooty thing. Don't want to get cancelled. But yeah, so I'll give that a bit of a whiz over with the air, get the final lot of dust down, then I'll give it a final kind of wipe down with wax and grease remover. Again, I did do that earlier, almost hit myself in the face then with this. Stop swinging around, firearms are dangerous. Yeah, I did give it a wipe down before I started sanding, just to get off any old kind of engine grease and crap like that would have been kind of maybe atomized up under the engine bay, hopefully, rather than sanding it into the steel like I've heard can happen. I have not really experienced that myself, but I probably have actually when I did the engine bay of my Plymouth. That was a quick kind of blow over though. Didn't take the motor out or nothing. I just kind of wrapped it up, peeled everything back, wrapped it up and wiped it down, sanded it and sprayed it, and then got wax eyes in it, but that's alright. Anyway, so I'll give this a bit of a air down and then mix up some epoxy and squirt some of that around. Okay, so update. Got 2 coats of epoxy on here. You can see, all this kind of where I didn't sand it all the way. So I didn't really think about that actually, but I'm going to have to try and get enough build up on there of the old, high build that I can kind of flush that out. Hopefully. I did have a bit of trouble with wax eye up here, like there was something still on the steel, unfortunately. They're both on the same mirroring each side, so I don't know what that was about. So I sort of stippled it out while it was still soft, and then kind of just dusted over the top of it. So hopefully the stippling process kind of picked up the crap that was on there. And as usual, mixed up too much epoxy, so I used some epoxy on my hinges. So they're just going to be black, whereas this I think is going to be the tealy kind of bluey colour. So yeah, so I can pretty much mix up some primer now, some 2K primer, and squirt all of this. I'll give it a couple of, three kind of fairly solid coats, so I can hopefully then kind of smooth out my inconsistent DAing that I've got here. You can definitely see it. A few little bits of crack blew out from up under there, even with all my best efforts and best intentions to mitigate that from happening. But yeah, on the whole, she'll be alright. Again, like, most when you open the bonnet, most people are going like that, not like, oh, look at that. But now that you guys know about it, you'll be looking, eh? So yeah, I wonder if I should do a little wee smooch of seam sealer behind those. Yeah, I probably might do actually, just on the inside of those holes. It won't be kind of the prettiest, but just a wee touch of seam sealer just to lock those up from the inside before I chuck some primer on there, I reckon. Yep. V8 cruising past. Okay, got 2 good coats on all of it, and then a 3rd coat through this middle section here before I ran out of what I had mixed up, which should hopefully kind of fill up all my sanding scratches close enough maybe. But yeah, so it's looking all good. I didn't put any high build primer on those. I'm just going to wet on wet those, like I wet on wetted these. So I'm going to move this out into the bake oven outside there and get that baking in the sun, so I can hopefully start sort of sanding on it this afternoon. That'd be quite cool if I could do that, because I have to look up the TDS on this particular primer, but I think it's like a 60-minute in the bake oven, which means 60-minute out in the sun will definitely cook this stuff on. You painter guys are probably going, what are you doing? But no way of controlling and measuring and stuff like that. But this is garage life. So I'm just going to move this outside, and hopefully these flies will get out of here. We've got a couple of flies buzzing around. Fortunately, they're not too keen on landing on paint, but they just buzz around and annoy the crap out of me. But yeah, and then we might rattle can these hinges glossy black. Okay, so baking away out there, it's good. Put all my primers and that away, we should be good to go, I think. And then what, I don't know, but maybe rattle can these and then go and hang them out in the sun too. Okay, so that's one coat. I kind of quite light. Yeah, it's all pretty well covered. There's a few kind of transparent bits in that on there. But with spraying enamel like this, I tend to try to sort of dust that first coat on. I was talking to a guy who sprays a lot of enamel house painting doors and window frames and stuff, and he kind of does the opposite. He does a fairly kind of heavy coat on that first round, and then a kind of like a lighter flow coat on the second pass sort of thing. Whereas the way I was taught was, get a tack coat on first, so it's kind of not really looking for coverage, you're looking for adhesion, if that makes sense. So you kind of like, with spraying enamels anyway, you kind of like get your first coat on fairly light, don't pour it on, and then you let it tack off. And this kind of heat will probably be about half an hour, where you can kind of touch it somewhere, non-important, the back of your finger, and if it doesn't pull off any paint but it's tacky, then it's ready for hit number 2. You know what I'm saying? It's hot. And then that's it, 2 coats, you're done. So we'll let that flash off and then give it another coat, and then I'll find somewhere to kind of hang them up to sort of dry off out of the way from what we're doing for the rest of the day. Forgot we had one of these little doohickeys, so I thought I'd kind of run out there and see what the temperature is on that hood in the sun. So it's like high 40s, 50 on some parts, and the TDS I looked up for that paint is 40 minutes at 60 degrees on bake. So we'll go like an hour at 50 degrees on bake in the bake oven. Yeah. Well, you guys are 30, 31. Look at that. Ready to go. So they're still tacky as, but none of it come off on my old hairy knuckle. So away we go. So alright, I'll just give these another coat, and by then that might be ready to bring back in. Then I can hang those up out there on maybe on that thing and get them baking in the bake oven, even though these will take a lot longer to dry, but in the sun they will dry relatively quick, unless I can hang them up out in this particular bake oven. Oh, that's right, the clothesline's down. Oh, spider webs out there, crazy. Right, I'll just give these another coat and then we'll be back. Okay, so a little quick shot of some guide coat there, just to guide me into knowing how far I've sanded into those scratches and crap like that. What I'm going to use on this, might just go straight into 240, going from mechanical adhesion from this primer to my top coat. So maybe 320, might start with 240 and then give it a final whiz over with 320. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Okay, so man, it's hot. I'm like sweating more than one of Epstein's mates at the moment, but wouldn't want to be one of those fellas. Obviously, there's a few bits up on that cross brace and that are a bit wobbly, and that where those staples and stuff were. I'm not fussed about that. I'm going to be gluing something on there, possibly, maybe, if I remember. But again, not that fussed. Under the bonnet. Oh, look at that. So that's it, pretty much all sanded back in 240. I think when I did the dash, I went down, I can't remember, 320? Or did I just do 240? I can't remember. I think when I did the dash, I went down to 240, and there's a few sanding marks in that in the dash that I didn't sand out, but I didn't use any guide coat on that either. So this time around I used a guide coat, which helps a lot, guys. If you I never used to use it. I used to rely on my old eyeballs to tell me where I'd sanded and stuff like that, whereas using the guide coat when your old eyeballs start getting a little bit old definitely helps. Yeah, so I just got to have a bit of a clean up, then I might actually shoot some colour onto this today, and then it's done. Yeah? Okay, got to put some stuff away. Almost ready to go, paint mixed, wax and grease removed again, wiped down, dusted off, vacuumed, all that kind of stuff. So nothing left to be done but shoot some colour on it and see how we go. I'm going to try that LVPTA gun again, see how that rolls with this kind of paint. It's pretty good with that 2K black, but didn't have quite enough pressure running through it, whereas there was something I was doing wrong. Yeah, not enough pressure, something like that. Anyway, too much paint, not enough pressure. Anyway, I'll figure it out, dial it in a bit on this for this colour and see how we go. Doesn't matter if it's orange peel down here again. It's not a big deal. Oh, look at that. Some of you professional guys are probably thinking, what a cowboy. But yeah, so let's get at it. Okay, so update. Got my kind of base colour on, right? Now, I bought that, you know how like the other week I painted those black panels, the inner fenders and that with that LB, low pressure, low volume, sweating, like dribbling, sweating, spray gun, alright? And I was saying I kept running out of air. I was doing the same thing again today. And my primer gun wasn't doing that. So I thought, well, it's not a compressor thing, it's a operator or spray gun thing. So I don't know what's going on with it, but I've switched to my primer gun to do the clear on this because it just starts off, it flares and then it just like runs out of air. And I know that compressor can, oh the sweat's running out of my gloves, that compressor can spray, you know, like a small piece like this without running out of air. Like that thing's goes like that, you know what I'm saying? I tried twiddling all the knobs and the bells and the whistles, but to no avail. So I even grabbed out one of my suction fed spray guns and squirted a bit of, just air through that, and that doesn't flare and drop, it just stays constant. And so yeah, I've got my second hand to me, I don't know what brand it is, some Taiwanese thing which doesn't do that. So any insight as to why a spray gun would flare like that, and the pressure drops dramatically, like it's not even atomizing the paint, it's even if it's just straight thinners, it's just coming out in droplets almost. So yeah, go figure, don't know. But anyway, I'm going to start clear coating this, and for some reason it's attracting the flies. Well, that could be me. Okay, let's see how this goes. Okay, what a shit fight that was, man. Like honestly, I have never had so much trouble with spray painting as I have been with in the last, on this car. Like, you know, I'm using spray guns that I haven't really, don't really understand or something. I don't know what's going on, but I ended up switching to this, and it dribbled out the cup and onto the colour. So I mixed up some colour again and tried to touch that up and sprayed it a bit dry so it bloody was visible. So then after a couple of coats of clear, I sprayed it again, and then I was having heaps of trouble getting the clear to go down even. Got heaps of real dry, like I haven't got any retarder thinners, which I like to use, especially I like to use it in winter and summer, because it just slows the drying down. In the winter it stops that absorption of moisture, in the summer it just lets it flow out a little bit more. But I was getting like dry spots and whatnot, and tried all sorts of things, like different pressures, different fluid flows, different fan sizes, and tried running in close and slow, but I just still kept getting dry edges. It's terrible. So then I just ended up spraying like almost 100% thinners, probably 90% thinners, just to kind of even it all out, which kind of worked. I don't know, I lost count of how many coats of clear I put on here in the end, but on the this brace here and on this back brace here, I kind of like laid it down. I think my compressor might be on its last legs. It's making some weird clanky noises. Could be part of the problem. What was I saying? Yeah, I kind of laid the clear in on that brace and stuff like that, a bit more, you know, heavy, so it would kind of go on really wet in the event that I do decide to polish this. I possibly won't. This is dry there too. Yeah, I did actually run into it with a bit of 1500 and some wet, just to try and take some of the dry spots in that out, and gave it another kind of bit of a flow coat. Tried 2 different types of thinners that I've got. Everything, man. I tried different spray guns, and it just fought me, man. I don't know whether it's too hot today or what, but man, it was a punisher. But ultimately I got it to the point where it's the under the bonnet. I wish it was a little bit glossier in that main part. I may kind of cut and polish it, see if I can bring it up, but then, you know, I'm beat, man. This thing has just kicked my ass. I spent so much time and effort, you know, sanding it with bloody, whatchamacallit, guide coat and all that sort of stuff, trying to make it smooth and all that sort of shit. And it just did that. Anyway, that's enough for today. I've got to go and cry into a beer or something and chase these flies. These flies have invaded my garage. Another Mike commented on the video that I didn't get any bugs in the old black paint and stuff. They're here with a vengeance today. Mike, it's the flies, and for some reason they're attracted to my paint and my bench and my bonnet and stuff. They're not landing in it, they're just hanging around it, which is just driving me nuts. So got a couple of spray guns to clean out, and yeah, flies to attack and kill stuff. Anyway, till tomorrow. Hey guys, morning. Okay, so it's the next day after having to cry into a couple of beers last night, and you know, like I kind of got into a full whinge about spray guns and inept and inability to kind of lay down any kind of half decent spray patterns or finishes and that with the equipment I've got and stuff. And my low volume, low pressure gun that I bought the other week, well, I bought a little while ago and tried it for the first time the other week. All that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, 99% of the problem is me and shitty thinners, to be fair. So this morning I kind of got up, dropped the young fella off at work, shot into a place where they sell premium lacquer thinners on a Sunday. They weren't open, too early yet, early bird. So I went down to another hardware that's close to there, and they had some premium lacquer thinners, which according to the label on the bottle anyway. So I grabbed 4 litres of that and come home, give the whole bonnet a quick rub down, a bit of a rub down with some 800, sprayed some straight thinners over it just to kind of soften it up again, and then just gave it one more kind of coat of probably 30% mix, 30% clear, 70% thinners, and just kind of like I actually turned my compressor right down at the gauge, didn't muck around with the dial on the old LVVPT spray gun, whatever it's called. I just left that wide open and I mucked around with the pressure at the gauge, because I was reading up about it last night on the interwebs, and they were talking about how you lose pressure and stuff as it comes down. So I had it set to just under 50 psi at the gauge, so by the time I lose all my poundage and stuff and CFMs and shit, by the time it gets to the end of here and then out the gun, that probably puts me at about that 20 psi mark. That is the recommendation for that spray gun. And it stopped kind of flaring as much. It was more consistent, with each trigger pull. Before it would flare, then drop off, flare, then drop off. And I'm used to kind of spraying at a higher PSI with heaps more flare and overspray, and you know, like sort of thing with the old style, you know, suction fed guns and stuff like that. With that being said, I kind of got in here, gave it another big sweep. Is it a primo gloss finish with no blemishes and stuff like that? No way. Is it good enough for what I want? Yeah, I think so. Oh, look at that. I've had enough, to be fair. It's not what you would put on the outside of a car, but it's probably okay for underneath my hood sort of bonnet area stuff. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to get it super perfect anyway, because there's little dents and dings and stuff that are going to be filled from the outside, but I haven't done anything about them on the inside. And I had some paint material clear dribble out of my other spray gun onto my blue, tealy, greeny, whatever that colour is stuff, which left a few marks, and I tried to touch them up quickly. Should have stopped at that point and rubbed them back, but I didn't. First rule of painting, you can't fix paint screw-ups with throwing more paint on top of that said screw-up. Like, I have people doing that with runs though. I've heard of people doing it with runs where they just flood it, let it run off the bottom, but then you get stalactites and stuff like that. So yeah, that's that done. I'm going to shift it outside and get it out of the way, clean up all this again, and yeah, then we will hopefully get that. Shouldn't take long to sort of dry up enough that I can bolt those hinges on, and hopefully bolt it onto the front of the car today, because I just want it up and out of the way when things start getting kind of a bit more, you know, kind of doneish. I hate having them getting moved around and leaning up against walls and stuff like that, because I end up just banging stuff around and working in a cramped environment, kind of wrecking shit again. Yeah, so that's kind of my plan for today, and that's, you know, kind of what happened. I mean, I didn't film any of my remedial work because I wasn't sure if it was going to work, to be honest, and I was still a bit dark on myself from yesterday, but I'm a little bit less dark on myself today. Yeah, like, I don't know. Yeah, don't look too close. If you ever see the car in person, don't look up under there. Oh, look at that. Because that won't be the best. Mind you, everything I've done, I've kind of damaged it in some way. Like, I damaged the dash straight after painting it. I dropped the boot lid trying to put that back on. I've got overspray on the new paint on the underside of the boot lid, you know, epoxy overspray, and that shit sticks to everything. It ain't coming off without some abrasive action. There's a few dry spots on the inside of that bonnet. Could be polished out if I felt so inclined. Will they? Probably not. Sort of, you know how it is, like, you know. Yeah, and my compressor. That's the other task for today, I think, is to, once I get this out of the way, clean up my mess. I wouldn't mind pulling that compressor out from under the bench and having a look through it, because it's making some, like, mechanically clanky noises that I can't see from where it's sitting as to where those noises are coming from. I'm hoping it's not like a broken push rod or something like that, and it's only running on one pot, because it is behaving kind of strange as well. It's like, even with using low air volume, it's kicking on all the time and running for ages, like it's struggling to just fill the tank that it's got, you know. So it's a few years old, and it is very, very neglected. So it's done alright. So hopefully it's got a little bit more left in it. I don't really want to go and buy a new compressor right now, but because this YouTube thing don't pay, neither does this, you know. Spending way too much money on some old bloody car in the garage, and yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to clean up my shit, get that outside, clean up some more shit, and we'll be back. done the other side first, but yeah, this sometimes you don't think of shit. That's the 4 specialty bolts that go on, hold those hinges on to the bonnet. Just gave them a bit of a wire wheel and a bit of a rust fix. Even though they actually cleaned it all off, I'm just going to give them a bit of a coating. Probably chip it off as I put them on, but get a bit of a coating on there now, and then I can maybe just touch them up with a brush or something like that when once they're on, you know. It looks a bit better out in the sun because the kind of glare coming off it, you can't see all the dry spots and the blemishes quite as easy, but they're there. Yeah, they'll be alright. Okay, so just bolting these hinges back on since everything's nice and soft. It's a good time to do it. Not really. One of these here is a bit flogged out, so it had a longer bolt through it, going all the way through. Which way does this go again? That way? No? That way? That way? No. But yeah, anyway, as soon as I figure this out, I'm going to bolt this on. I've got the other side on, alright? So why am I having trouble with this? That goes like... There's the front. Yeah, I've got photos on my phone. I should really be checking those, but... Oh, of course, dipshit, trying to bolt it on the wrong spot anyway. Goes there. I was looking at that hole, but it doesn't go on there. One goes like that, I think. This is this sort of stripped out hole, so it had, yeah, for some reason, yeah, someone had put a longer bolt in it at some point in its life, but it's the exact type of bolt, it's just slightly longer. I did consider welding a kind of captive nut onto the back of it, so you didn't have to do the nut and the bolt, but these hinges shouldn't really be coming off again in any great hurry. Nope. Nope. It does have a little bit of thread in there, but not enough to hold it tight, I would say. It would. That one, when you tighten it up, gets tight. That one you can tighten it up, and it stays like that, which is kind of weird. There was no other washers and stuff like that on here when I took it all apart, but yeah, one fits completely different to the other. Strange. Oh well. Alrighty, so got this kind of hovering in place at the moment. I zip tied these hinges up to stop them flopping around while I was trying to position it. So now I can get them out of the way. The zip ties, that is. And the little dogs over the road are all going mental just for a change. Yeah. Come on. Gotcha. There's that. I forgot to check this. Oh, have I got these around the wrong way? Ooh. Okay. Give me a minute. I just didn't have them in the right place. I looked over the other side and this top hole was lining up, so I thought, hang on, just a ticket. Oh, here we go. This one's almost there. I need a screwdriver. They're over there. Yes. It's holding in a kind of cross-thready kind of fashion, but I can get these ones underway. I think that one's sitting high. Alright, I need a screwdriver that I left there. Here. Come on. How's that going? Oh, lying on that block of wood, not particularly comfortable. Try again. Starting. Okay, but I've got one. Got one in, so we can try that other outside one again. A little bit of wiggling and jiggling. It's a bit more supported now. Just make sure this is still holding. It's nearly there. Okay, there's it. That might get us back down a little bit, that up a little bit. Try that inside one again. Oh, there's one washer. There's the bolt. It still seems high. There's a lot of adjustment in these bolts, so it's kind of, I guess, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of things to say while I'm struggling in front of the internet. Come on. Oh. What do I have to do? I have to push that hinge down a bit. Just make sure that's loose enough to go. Ugh. Leave it with me. I'll check back in when I've done it. Double chinned. That might hold it enough for me to get that started. Maybe. Bloody. Try again. Got it. Yahoo! Just loosen that one back off so I can get some adjustment, hopefully. Loosen off a bit more. Make sure those ones are well loose. Okay, so that's that side done. I've got two on here, so I've just got to do those inside ones. And yeah, once I've done that, I'll check back in what to use, fellas, and yeah, figure out how well this bonnet's going to line up to the guards that I put on last week. Exceptionally well compared to the first side. You've seen me on Struggle Street on the first one, and then just it was a bit of a walk in the park on the second one. They all just kind of went in quite nicely, and we were all happy, so that's good. After a bit of farting around, adjusting hinges and adjusting the bolts and stuff like that, getting them all in hopefully the right place, I've got it almost to where it needs to be. I think I may need to put a couple more shims in here though, just to push the front of the guards out just a touch. That was the gappage. Pretty happy with how the gap runs down the sides and, you know, across the top and all that kind of stuff. But she's just a little snug right at the end of the hood, like down in here. Even when it's kind of, you know, when I hold it up to where it needs to be, you know, the side gaps are good, but she's just a little snuggage down there. So I reckon a little bit of shimming there will probably do it. This side still wants to sit up a little bit. She's pretty good here. She's just a bit high on the door, but I can't remember if it always was or not. Can't get it to kind of pull in, so maybe the door needs to pull out a scotch. That could be a way. How do I do that? I've got to do it on the inner door hinge there, yeah? How will that affect everything else on this door? I don't know, but will that affect that guard much? Could do coming out a teeny bit. It's not so much there, but could come that way just a bit, which might rectify some of that a bit. But crikey, you know, how far do I go? These guards are going to come off again anyway, so I'll probably go through this whole song and dance again later on. But I might have to play around with the doors, maybe put a couple of shims in that core support. Yeah. After I painted all the hardware on that core support, now I've got to undo it and crack all that paint. Just undo this. I didn't take these off when I painted this because I thought they would be in the right place, and they possibly are. But you know, this car's been tinkered around and modified and things like that, so maybe they're not in the right place anymore. Do I need to put one in down the bottom as well? I don't know. I put an 1/8 in, and I closed the bonnet to see what it looked like, and it didn't. It was way too much, so I was just putting a 1/16 shim in there. Should be enough just to kind of push that top of the guard out a wee bit. I might just tighten it up and see what it does. Yeah, that's better. That's cool. Right, I'll do that on the other side and we should be good, I think. That's weird. I put a shim in that side there, and now it's tightened up the gap on that side, so I might take that shim back out and see what it does. Strange. Don't know how that happened. 16th shim out of there, and I'm putting an 1/8 in just to sort of see what it does. Just give that a little nudge. Should be fairly wedged in there. I just want to see what it's going to do. Give that tap, tap, tap. Okay, so alrighty, so don't know what the deal with that is. I thought it was closer when I had just the one shim on one side, so I put a 16th shim on the right hand side and it screwed everything up. I was just trying to open that gap up. So, sorry, pointing the camera in the wrong place. So I put a 16th shim on the left hand side, and that brought the left hand gap like really good, and it just made it look like the right hand gap just needed a little touch. So I put a 16th in there too, and that kind of closed it up. It was really, I don't understand it. It goes against all my kind of logic. So I ended up, as you saw, put a couple of 1/8 inch shims in there on that side, and that should be alright, I think. Once the bonnet catch and all the rubbers and little guides and stuff like that are all in there, it might be different, but we'll run with it as that for now. We can always take those shims back out or add more in later on. But yeah, that's it's on there. What a mission this bonnet has been, really. Well, the paint thing that kind of really got into my head is is to, you know, the success of the said mission. Putting the bonnet on, actually it went pretty smoothly, which was good. I couldn't remember what process I'd used to put it on before, on and off, but I didn't have shiny paint and soft hinges and shit to contend with, whereas this time around I did, you know. But yeah, she's on there, so good show, old chap. Might have a little play around with that door hinge and whatnot, and have a bit of a clean up. Then I've got to pull that compressor out and have a look see at that, you know. Don't know what I'm going to find there, or whether it's time to start researching a new compressor. It's been good, that one, but yeah, it was getting a bit long in the tooth, I should probably think. But yeah, so here we have it. Bonnet's on the old Area 51, hopefully for the last time. I like seeing it all kind of bolted together. These guards are coming back off because I've still got to paint in the jams and that properly without the guards on. And this is why, you know, scratch, 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 so that stuff has to get touched up. Got a matching one on the other side. There, scratch, 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 scratch. But new stuff like that is going to happen. yeah, it's got a hood on. Well worth the money, really handy to have. That was just a little cheapie. I think it was, I don't know, $15 or $30 or something like that on Trade Me, kind of like eBay, but Trade Me. Yeah, had a little fiddle around with that door, managed to tip it out a little bit at the top, a bit more. I think it's all good. It's a bit better with the guard, then I had to kind of like, you know, a bit better with that kind of bonnet. Oh, it's open at the moment. So I had to kind of play around, try to get that back out, put another shim in the guard after all of that as well. So, doesn't hit, doesn't catch. It's all that's important, I guess. What else have we done since I last spoke to you? Not a lot, just farting around, a little bit of fine tuning and shit like that, but I think we're pretty much done for this stage. I'm having a bit of trouble with this hinge here. It's got a bit of play in it. I didn't really, it wiggles around a bit, so at the moment it's wanting to drop in that corner. I'm hoping it might kind of come around a bit when we get all the rubbers and the catch and everything in there. You know what I'm saying? So there's just a bit of play in that hinge that sort of, yeah, I knew there was something different between side to side and hinges. I don't know. Didn't really think that much about it by the time I got around to painting it. Completely forgot all about it. Should really take notes. I actually did start taking notes and then I never referred to them, so that didn't really help. But go figure. Anyway, got a few things to put away. But that's where we're going to leave this exciting episode on the Area 51 project. Finally got all the sheet metal into epoxy, and for now on the car. Bit of a mish. So next up on this car, I think on the old Area 51, we'll be like starting to do the body work on the guards and on the hood and stuff like that, and get it into the same kind of realm as where the rest of it is, you know, this part. You know, close but not quite perfect. But yeah, then we can kind of go around and start dialing in each area, dialing it in, and then until we've got it to the point where, you know, we take it to the next stage of paint, whatever. Sometime in the hopefully near future, we're going to be doing a little bit of work on the little Murder Mori, my son's little Morris Minor. We've got the old big block 948 sitting there ready to go in it, and I got my engine crane back yesterday from Uncle Pencil Legs. I was hoping to have kind of hooked into that before now, but he kept forgetting to bring my crane back and I couldn't be bothered going to get it, so you know, had stuff to do. So yeah, so that's where I'm going to leave this one. As always, thanks for watching. If you're on the if you're first time here, subscribe. You know, you get to see what kind of idiocracy I get up to trying to build this car in my garage for myself, trying to figure shit out as I go along, trying to relearn stuff I forgot, trying to learn stuff I didn't know, things like that. We're on Facebook and Instagram. I always forget to tell you about that, but you know, not really a lot happening on there, just a little bit of notification stuff for when the videos are coming out. But yeah, subscribe, like, share, comment, and as always, thanks for watching. Until next time, take it easy and peace. Bloody birds.